What is good, everyone? Welcome to this video. I'm Charlie from Conscious Creation, and in this video I'm going to be sharing with you the biggest secret in order for you to change your life, and that is learning how to identity shift. And I really recommend you watching to the very end of this video, because towards the end I'm going to explain it to you in very simple terms on how exactly you can do this, apply it in your life, and you will start to see these amazing changes. So as a coach, the number one thing that I always ask people when they want to attract something in their life, the number one question is, who do you have to become in order to attract what you want? When it comes to the law of attraction, so many people are focusing on what is it that they want instead of focusing on becoming the person that they need to become in order to attract that reality. Many times people will focus on the things that they want, and the universe will start to bring it to them in their life, but they will never fully receive it because they're simply not at the level in order to receive that. There was this lady that I was coaching, and she was talking about how she really wanted to attract a partner in her life. And she had this list of all the attributes that she wanted her man to have. I think it was about 2 or 3 pages. How he looked, his financial situation, everything about him. And then I said, okay, well, you know what you want, but do you know what he would want? And she looked a bit confused, and she was like, what do you mean? Well, I was like, if you are going to attract a man like that, he's going to want certain things from you as well. So I was advising her to focus on becoming the woman that could attract a man like that. So many times it's all to do with becoming the person that we need to be in order to attract the things that we want. And this is done through identity shifting, which I'm going to share with you how to do. Now, there's a universal law called the law of variation, which basically means that everything is always becoming. There's always basically a new level to yourself. There's always a better version that you can become. So when it comes to identity shifting, is you want to get a crystal clear idea of the characteristics of who you want to become. And this can be done in many ways. You can pick people that you admire, take certain traits from them, and you want to get a pen and paper and start writing this stuff down. Now, when it comes to identity shifting, we can identity shift on a smaller scale or on a larger scale. A larger scale means many things in your life will start to change, or you can do an identity shift in specific areas in your life, like relationships or finances. But let's say you're going for a big identity shift. You want to start becoming aware of the characteristics of that person that you want to become and start to write it down. Now, when it comes to identity shifting, is we need to learn to embody this version of ourselves, because there are many versions of you. There are actually infinite versions of you. So you could tap into any version of yourself through that of identity shifting. But we need to realize that we need to embody this part of ourselves in a detached fashion. So we need to realize that we aren't truly these characteristics. That's not who we are. It's simply a mask that we are wearing. You could have the most successful person in the world. They could have all of this accolades and wealth and attributes, but truly that's not who they are. That's just a mask that they are wearing. When it comes to enlightenment, someone who is an enlightened being, is what they've actually done is they've taken away all of the masks, and all that is left is their true self, their soul being, peace and contentment. That's who we all are at our core. But when it comes to creating our reality, we need to learn to put on a mask. And the way that it works is, if you think of any reality that you want to experience, it exists at a certain frequency or energy plane. So when you put on a mask, it allows you to experience that reality. And we can't do that if we don't have any masks. So this is what reality creation is actually doing, is we are becoming someone by putting on these masks. But we need to realize, in order to take off a mask and to put on a new mask, that it's not who we truly are. So we become aware of the characteristics, but we are detached from them, realizing that's not who we are, but we can still embody them. It's a bit like a play. You're an actor and you're putting on this uniform in order to play a character in your life. So how can we go along and do this? I'm in the process of making a program for this at the moment, so I can take people and go into a lot of detail in how to do this properly. But I'm going to give you a very simplified way of doing it in this video. So first off, we need to de-identify with our current reality so we can then identify, in other words, put a new mask on so we can experience a new reality. So this is when meditation becomes so useful, because when you meditate and you relax and you start to become very present, you stop worrying about all of the things in your life, where you've got to be, people that you've got to meet, the job that you've got to go to, the career. All of those things start to temporarily become a non-concern to you. You become present and you have de-identified with that mask, with your current identity. This now gives us an opportunity to start identifying with the new version of ourselves. So in this relaxed state, this is why we need a clear idea of the characteristics that we want to embody, so we know exactly what it is. And then we start to see ourselves through those eyes, so we start to identify with it. And the key to this is the feeling. How would it feel if you were this person? Like, how would you walk? How would you move? How would you speak? How would you hold yourself? And you want to become more and more familiar with this version of yourself. And when you actually do this, is an amazing thing starts to happen. Is so many parts in your life, in your area, start to shift. So I'll explain this to you as simple as I can. So let's say when someone wants to change their life, they try and change their emotions, right? I'm going to change how I feel. But it's actually your beliefs that are creating your emotions. So in order to have different emotions towards things, you need to change your beliefs. When it comes to identity shifting, it's like a dominoes effect. Everything starts to change. Our values, our behaviors, our beliefs, our decisions, our actions, all of that stuff automatically changes when you shift your identity. So many people try and change like their emotions, their beliefs, their actions, and this stuff does work to a certain degree. But the biggest change that you can make is your identity, because it's like a domino, so it goes like this, and all of this stuff starts to change. Now, when you do this properly and you start to identify with the version of yourself that you'd prefer to be, you open your eyes. Now, you might look around you and be like, well, nothing's changed, but it has. On a deep quantum level, you have actually shifted into a parallel reality where that version of yourself exists. And a really good indication to know that you have actually shifted your identity is all hell will break loose. Things in your reality will just start to crumble and things just seem to go pear-shaped. But it's actually a very good sign that this has happened. It means that you have shifted your reality. Now, when you do this, yes, you have shifted your reality, but in order to sustain and stay on that timeline, to stay where you start to experience all the benefits of shifting your identity, is you need to learn to maintain that. And how can we do that? So let's say you've shifted your identity to become a big achiever. You want to be this big achiever in your reality. But what will actually happen is the universe will test you in a way. It's not really a test, it's more kind of we could say it's a test. And so what will happen is the universe will show you very obviously in your life that you're not a big achiever. Something will happen to show you you are not a big achiever. Now, it's doing this on purpose. It's bringing that up to your face so you can prove that you truly are this new identity. So you need to ask yourself, how would you respond to the situation if you already were this big achiever? You wouldn't react in a negative way. You wouldn't be like, oh, well, I guess I'm not a big achiever. No, you'd react differently. It wouldn't bother you. If you shifted your identity to be in this amazing, loving relationship, and you then see this couple walk down the street and you get really jealous and you're like, oh, why haven't I got that? You've gone back to the old self. You haven't sustained and held that identity. If you were in an amazing and loving relationship, you would hold the identity of that, and that wouldn't bother you. So it's becoming aware of your reactions in your reality. And this is what I meant at the beginning of my video. So if you've made it this far, this is the powerful information that I'm going to share with you. This is the key to really creating your reality, is shifting how you react to things. So if you have a certain identity and you are embodying these characteristics, how would you react to all of the things in your life? You would react very, very differently. And this is the process of continuing to shift your identity into that new version of yourself. And this is why it might take a bit of time, because you need to be solidified in reacting to things in your life from that point of view. Now, in our reality, this is a big statement, but everything is consciousness. Everything is awareness. Scientists are starting to become aware of this, that your brain doesn't create consciousness. It's your consciousness that creates your brain. Everything in our reality is awareness and pure consciousness. And if you can really understand this on a deep level, because you're shifting your consciousness by reacting differently to everything in your life, you are shifting yourself at such a deep level. You are shifting your consciousness. And because everything outside of you is pure consciousness and pure awareness, it has to reflect this back to you. It has no choice. So if you are shifting your identity to a wealthy person, you've made that shift, you've de-identified and you've identified with the new version of yourself, and then you start to react. In other words, you might get bills or situations. How would you react to them if you were wealthy? And you can really start to become aware of this and shift how you feel about this stuff. Before anything outside of you gives you evidence, you are shifting your consciousness. And the outer reality has no choice. This is why it's so amazing, because it's a fail-proof system, because it has no choice. It has to reflect this back to you because it's pure consciousness. And because you've shifted your consciousness, it must do this. And this is why it is so incredibly powerful. And this is why you need to change what is within yourself first, and then the outer world will start reflecting this back to you. But as I've explained in my previous videos, it's a time delay. It takes a little bit of time, because the outer world will start to reflect this back to you. Pure consciousness will reflect this back to you in time. So it gives you sort of time to unfold gradually. So it doesn't happen like that, but it still can actually happen very quickly. So reacting to things outside of you from the point of view of your new identity. And that is the key to shifting your consciousness, which then changes your reality. So I hope this information has helped you. It's really, really powerful information. I will put a free a Reprogram Your Subconscious Mind meditation below if you want to give that a go. Apart from that, peace, much love, and take care.